Amelia Harper turned 44 that spring, though she no longer marked birthdays with cake or fanfare. Her hazel eyes, once bright with the optimism of youth, had learned to veil pain behind layers of practiced calm. Her body, curved, soft, unapologetic, had never conformed to the razor-thin ideals that ruled Boston's Back Bay drawing rooms and Beacon Hill galas. As a black woman born into one of New England's oldest money dynasties, she had spent decades navigating spaces that praised her philanthropy while privately labeling her the Harper heavyweight or the fortunate full-figured heiress. The whispers never quite reached her ears directly, but they lingered in sidelong glances and sudden silences when she entered a room. Her husband, Oliver James, never whispered. He simply performed affection in public and withheld it in private. 7 years younger, with the lean, camera-ready looks of a rising political star, sharp jaw, calculated smile, eyes that scanned every interaction for advantage, he had married her 12 years earlier in a ceremony covered by the society pages. No children had followed, no scandals had erupted, no love had deepened. Their marriage was a contract dressed in evening wear. Her family name and fortune provided the platform. His charisma and ambition supplied the spotlight. That October morning, the Beacon Hill mansion smelled of rain-soaked leaves drifting through open French doors and the dark roast coffee their chef brewed daily. It was Oliver's 37th birthday. Amelia had spent weeks planning the small, perfect brunch. Chilled Dom Perignon, poached lobster tails, heirloom tomatoes drizzled with 25-year balsamic, and a single orchid centerpiece she had personally selected from a greenhouse in Vermont. In the velvet-lined box on the sideboard waited his gift, a rose-gold Patek Philippe with a moon-face complication, chosen because she knew it would photograph beautifully during his upcoming Senate announcement tour. At 9:47 a.m., she came down the curved staircase in a charcoal cashmere dress that skimmed her figure without apology, the envelope in her hand containing a framed certificate, $150,000, donated in Oliver James's name to the National Literacy Initiative. He loved gestures that made him appear generous. She loved the brief moments when his mask slipped into something resembling gratitude. The formal dining room stood empty. Voices drifted from the library next door, low, amused, unguarded. Amelia paused, one hand on the doorframe, a habit born of years spent listening for the subtext beneath polite conversation. "That woman is a walking liability," Oliver said, his laugh short and sharp. "Every time I have to touch her, I picture campaign funds. That's the only thing that gets me through it. You really think I enjoy any of it? She's like sleeping with a damn beanbag chair." Charlotte James, Oliver's mother, impeccably preserved at 68, voice cool as marble, answered without hesitation. "Keep smiling, darling. Play the devoted husband until the trusts vest completely. After that, you walk. Quietly. Cleanly. No messy divorce headlines. Why stay tethered to someone who looks like she ate the entire dessert card at every gala? She's ballast, not ballast you need forever." Their laughter floated out like cigarette smoke, light, careless, cruel. The envelope slipped from Amelia's fingers and landed soundlessly on the Persian rug. Her face did not change. Her breathing did not change. Only her legs trembled once, a private earthquake. She turned, climbed the stairs again, heels silent on the runner, and closed the bedroom door with the gentleness of someone sealing a tomb. She did not cry. She did not scream. She did not storm back downstairs to demand explanations. That evening they dined as usual. Amelia wore the same calm smile she had perfected over a decade of fundraisers and ribbon cuttings. She presented the watch. Oliver kissed her cheek, dry, perfunctory, and declared it perfect. Charlotte complimented the Barolo and suggested Amelia look into a new wellness retreat in the Berkshires. "They specialize in portion control," she added with a tinkling laugh. Oliver joined in. Amelia simply watched them both, her serenity no longer passive. It was the stillness before deliberate motion. After midnight, When Oliver's breathing had evened into sleep, Amelia moved through the house barefoot. She walked every hallway, every room. The Basquiat she had bid on at Sotheby's, the Biedermeier chairs imported from Munich, the library filled with first editions she had never had time to read. Every object was evidence of a life assembled to specification, a museum dedicated to someone else's idea of who she should be. In the study, she sat at the walnut desk and wrote on heavy cream paper in her clear, unhurried hand. Grateful for the clarity, no signature. She folded it once, placed it on her pillow. Then she opened her laptop. Within the hour, she had contacted a discreet international real estate attorney she had used for anonymous family transactions, a private banker in the Caymans, and a buyer already vetted for speed and silence. She transferred controlling interest in the bulk of the Harper trusts, liquidated non-essential holdings, and rerouted proceeds into numbered accounts under the name Violet Aurora. Years of managing family wealth had taught her exactly which levers to pull to leave no visible trail. By 4:12 a.m., she was gone. She left through the service entrance, duffel bag over one shoulder, long charcoal coat buttoned to her chin, passport, and the old Polaroid tucked inside. The photo showed her at 20, standing on a ridge in Rocky Mountain National Park, arms outstretched, wind whipping her hair, laughing into a future that had not yet been sold. Oliver woke at 7:30, called her name, checked the kitchen, the sunroom, the gym, found the note, read it, crumpled it, texted, called, voicemail. He phoned Charlotte. She left a note, grateful for the clarity. What the hell does that mean? Charlotte felt the first real chill in years. Find her. By noon, he discovered the mansion was under new ownership. The buyer had paid cash, wired from offshore. The accounts he could access showed zero balances. Legally, almost everything, the house, the cars, even most of his wardrobe, was titled in her name or trusts she controlled. The prenup he had once celebrated as ironclad now mocked him. What he did not yet know, a junior compliance officer at the transfer bank had flagged irregular movements and quietly tipped a financial reporter who had been digging into Oliver's campaign donors for months. The story was already in draft form. Amelia boarded a Greyhound at South Station just after dawn. She chose a window seat near the back. The bus smelled of diesel and old upholstery. She watched Massachusetts give way to Connecticut, then New York, Pennsylvania, Ohio. Each mile felt like peeling off dead skin. Evening news in Boston carried the first segment. Prominent heiress Amelia Harper has vanished. Sources close to the family say there are concerns for her safety amid rumors of marital discord and large financial transfers. Speculation ranged from kidnapping to breakdown to deliberate disappearance. She knew the real story. The kidnapping had ended the moment she walked out the door. The bus rolled into Chicago at dusk 2 days later. She transferred to a local line heading south. Englewood unfolded around her, block after block of two flats with barred windows, corner stores with hand-painted signs, children riding bikes between parked cars, elders sitting on stoops watching the world go by. It was not polished. It was not safe by magazine standards, but it was alive in a way Beacon Hill never had been. She stepped off at 63rd and Halstead carrying only the duffel in her coat. No one stared. No one recognized her. Invisibility tasted like oxygen. A hand-lettered sign taped to a chain-link fence read, "Room for rent." Cash. No questions. She knocked. A woman in her late 50s opened the door. Sophia. Wiry, gray-streaked braids pulled back, eyes sharp and assessing. "You the one looking for a room? I saw the sign. I can pay first month plus deposit. Up front." Sophia studied her. Posture too straight, skin too smooth, nails too neat for someone claiming hardship. "Name? Violet Aurora." Sophia snorted. "That's a stripper name or a romance novel name. Either way, come in. Rooms upstairs. Shared bath. No cooking after 10. No loud guests. Cash only, no refunds. The room was small. Twin bed with a thin mattress. Metal fan that rattled like it was dying. Single window overlooking an alley. Walls patched with mismatched paint. It smelled faintly of mildew and pine sol. To Amelia, it felt like freedom. She paid for 2 months. Sophia counted the bills twice, then handed her a key. That first night, she lay on the lumpy mattress listening to distant sirens, a neighbor's radio playing old Motown, the creak of the house settling. She did not cry. She simply closed her eyes and let the silence wrap around her like a blanket she had chosen herself. The next morning, she walked the neighborhood. She told people she had been ruined by a bad investment, fraud, bad advice, gone in one signature. It was close enough to truth that the lies sat comfortably. People nodded with the weary sympathy of those who had heard every version of loss. She passed murals of local heroes, barbershops with men laughing on folding chairs outside, churches with hand-painted banners advertising revival services. She bought coffee from a corner store where the owner called her baby and refused to let her pay full price because you look like you need a win today. Late in the afternoon, she found the Englewood Community Health Center, a low brick building with peeling paint, bars on the windows, a hand-painted sign reading free care, and no one turned away. Inside, it smelled of antiseptic and coffee. The waiting area was crowded, mothers with toddlers, elders with canes, young men with bandaged hands. A tense conversation carried from the hallway. "I told you, ma'am, we don't stock that brand of insulin anymore. The generic is what we got. If you go to the pharmacy, it'll cost you triple." The voice belonged to a man in his mid-30s, tall, brown hair falling into tired eyes, sleeves rolled to the elbows, stethoscope around his neck. Theodore Levi. He spoke firmly, but without anger, the way someone does when exhaustion has burned away everything except compassion. Amelia watched him finish with the patient, then hand her a slip for a sliding scale pharmacy. When the woman left, she approached. "Are you the doctor here?" Theodore looked up. His gaze was direct but not unkind. "Theodore Levi, you need to be seen." "No, I want to volunteer. I have experience with organization, donor coordination, inventory management. I can help behind the scenes." He studied her for a long moment. Something about her did not match the story she would later tell, of financial ruin, of starting over. Her diction was too precise, her carriage too assured. But the clinic was drowning in paperwork, expired supplies, and endless need. "All right, Violet. We don't have time for background checks or orientation packets. If you're willing to scrub exam tables and sort donations, you're in. Questions later, if ever." She started that afternoon. She folded linens that smelled faintly of bleach. She inventoried boxes of bandages and gloves that had arrived from a church drive. She answered phones when the receptionist stepped out. No one asked about her past. They only cared what she did in the present. 3 days later, she met Mia. The girl was 9, sitting on an exam table with her legs dangling, dark curls matted, big brown eyes that seemed older than the rest of her. Beside her sat Emma, her great-aunt and guardian, small, fierce, silver hair in a neat bun. "She hasn't eaten right in days," Emma said. "Fever comes and goes. Skin's getting ashy. She's tired all the time." Theodore examined her gently, listened to lungs, checked lymph nodes, palpated her abdomen. When he finished, he stepped into the hall, shoulders tight. Amelia followed him quietly. "What is it?" "Could be leukemia. Could be severe anemia. Could be something else. We need blood work and imaging. That's not cheap, even on sliding scale." Through the doorway, Amelia saw Mia playing with a stuffed rabbit, missing one ear, whispering secrets to it. Emma approached Amelia later while Theodore wrote notes. "You're not from around here. Too much polish. Hands too soft. Back too straight. Life here bends people. But I don't judge secrets. I carried mine for 40 years. Just be careful who you let see you. Some folks only look for weakness. Theodore looks for the person underneath. Amelia swallowed. Thank you. Weeks passed in a rhythm of small, grounding tasks. She learned the names of regulars. She memorized which families needed extra diapers, which elders liked their appointment reminders in Spanish. At night, she wrote in the journal she kept hidden in her duffel. I spent years giving money to causes without ever touching the people they were meant to help. Now I touch everything and everyone, and it's the first time I felt clean. One gray morning in late November, she was shelving newly donated antibiotic samples when the office phone rang. Theodore answered. Speaking. Yes, this is Dr. Levi. James. You're sure that's the name on the old file? Hold on. Amelia's hand froze mid-motion. A box of gauze pads slipped and hit the floor. Theodore glanced at her. You all right? Just dizzy for a second. He returned to the call, voice lower now. When he hung up, he said nothing. He simply walked to the back door, lit a cigarette, and stared at the alley. Amelia's pulse hammered in her ears. James. The name was a live wire in her memory. She knew Theodore had history with powerful people. Whispers around the clinic mentioned a Boston hospital that had forced him out years earlier after he refused to sign off on questionable prescriptions tied to wealthy donors. She had never asked, but now the pieces were starting to brush against each other. That night she sat on the edge of her bed, Polaroid in one hand, journal in the other. The photo showed a younger her, fearless, unburdened. She traced the outline of her own smile. She was no longer Amelia Harper, but Violet Aurora was beginning to crack at the edges. And somewhere in Boston, Oliver James was already hiring investigators, scanning security footage, tracing bank wires. The question was no longer whether he would find her. The question was what she would do when the past finally caught up to the present. Theodore Levi stood in the narrow alley behind the clinic for a long time after hanging up the phone. The cigarette burned down to the filter between his fingers. He barely noticed. The cold November wind carried the smell of exhaust from 63rd Street and the faint char of someone's backyard grill a few blocks over. He kept replaying the voice on the other end of the line. A former colleague from Boston General, someone he hadn't spoken to in almost a decade. Old patient file came up in a records request. James' family, Evelyn James specifically. You remember refusing to sign off on those off-label scripts back in 15? Looks like someone's digging again. Thought you should know. Theodore had ended the call without promising anything. He didn't need to. The name alone was enough to drag every buried memory to the surface. The late-night pages, the hushed hallway arguments, the veiled threats from hospital administration when he wouldn't falsify documentation to cover for high-profile donors. The James name had been attached to those donors. Oliver James's mother, Charlotte, though back then she still went by her maiden name in medical records, had been one of the patients receiving aggressive, questionably indicated treatments. Theodore had walked away rather than play along. They had made sure his career in Boston ended quietly but permanently, and now that same name had echoed in his own clinic on a call about an archived file. He flicked the cigarette, but into the gravel, and went back inside. Amelia, Violet, was still in the small office, retacking the box of gauze she had dropped. Her hands moved with mechanical precision, but her shoulders were rigid. She didn't look up when he entered. You sure you're okay? He asked again. She forced a small smile. Long day. I'll be fine. He watched her for a beat longer than necessary. There was something about the way she held herself, too controlled, too careful, that reminded him of patients who were hiding terminal diagnoses from their families. Not fear exactly. Resignation dressed up as composure. He didn't press. Not yet. That night Amelia walked the 6 blocks back to Sophia's house under a sky heavy with clouds that refused to rain. Streetlights buzzed overhead. A group of teenagers on the corner nodded politely as she passed. One even stepped aside to let her by on the cracked sidewalk. She appreciated the small courtesies more than she could say. Inside her room, she sat cross-legged on the bed, duffel open beside her. She pulled out the Polaroid again. 20-year-old Amelia stared back, windblown, laughing, alive in a way she hadn't felt since. She set it carefully on the nightstand like an altar. Then she opened the journal. The name James landed like a stone in still water today. Ripples. I thought I'd outrun them. I was wrong. She closed the notebook and lay back, staring at the water stain on the ceiling that looked vaguely like a map of somewhere she'd never been. The next morning, Mia was back at the clinic. The girl had been coming in twice a week for monitoring since Theodore first suspected leukemia. Today her cheeks were flushed, eyes glassy. Emma helped her onto the exam table with the careful tenderness of someone who had carried too many burdens for too long. She spiked a fever again last night, Emma said. Tylenol barely touched it. Theodore listened to her heart, checked her temperature, 101.8. He drew blood with gentle efficiency, explaining every step to Mia so she wouldn't be afraid. Amelia stood in the doorway holding a fresh stack of pediatric gowns. She watched the way Mia gripped Emma's hand, the way the girl tried to smile through chattering teeth. When Theodore stepped out to label the vials, Amelia followed him to the lab alcove. How bad? She asked quietly. WBC count was already elevated last draw. If this trend continues, he didn't finish. He didn't need to. Amelia looked back toward the exam room. Mia was whispering something to her stuffed rabbit. I want to help, Amelia said. Whatever it costs. I can. You already are, Theodore interrupted gently. You're here. That matters more than you think. But later that afternoon, when the clinic quieted down, Amelia slipped out the back door and walked 3 blocks to a small check-cashing place she had noticed earlier in the week. She had kept one final item from her old life hidden at the bottom of the duffel, her grandmother's sapphire ring. The stone was deep blue, flawless, easily worth $80,000 on the private market. She had never worn it in Boston, too ostentatious even for galas, but she had carried it like a secret heartbeat. The pawnbroker behind the bulletproof glass raised an eyebrow when she placed it on the tray. This is real. Appraised at 92 last year. He examined it under a loupe, then made a call. 30 minutes later, he slid an envelope under the glass. $75,000 in cash. No questions. No paperwork beyond a thumbprint. She left with the money tucked inside her coat. Back at the clinic, she found Theodore in the office, head in his hands over a stack of unpaid lab bills. She placed the envelope on the desk. For Mia's tests, and whatever comes next. He looked up, startled. Violet, it's clean money, she said. No strings. Please. He opened the envelope, saw the amount, and exhaled slowly. This is a lot. I know what it's like to need help and not get it because of money, she said. I won't watch that happen to her. He studied her face. You're not telling me everything. No, she admitted. But I'm not lying about wanting to help. He nodded once. Okay, we'll get the oncology referral started tomorrow. Rush it. That evening, the neighborhood held an impromptu block party on the corner of 66th and Normal. Someone's birthday, someone else's homecoming. The reason didn't matter. Music spilled from a parked SUV. Tables groaned under aluminum trays of ribs, mac and cheese, collards, cornbread. Children chased each other between legs. Amelia went because Sophia insisted. You can't hide in that room every night. Come eat. Meet people. She wore jeans and a plain sweater, clothes she had bought from a thrift store on 63rd. No makeup. Hair pulled back. For the first time in years, she felt almost invisible in the best way. She helped serve plates, listened to stories, laughed when an older man named Samuel tried to teach her a line dance and she stepped on his toes twice. Theodore arrived late, still in scrubs, and accepted a plate from her without comment. They ended up sitting on the curb together, watching Mia twirl in the middle of the street with a group of girls, red bracelet on her wrist flashing under the streetlights. "She made that for you," Theodore said quietly. Amelia looked down at her own wrist. The red threads were already slightly frayed from wear. "She said it means I can't leave." Theodore smiled faintly. Kids see things clearer than we do. A comfortable silence settled between them. Then he spoke again, softer. "The call yesterday. The name James. It's not random for me either." Amelia's pulse kicked. He continued without looking at her. "Years ago in Boston, I worked at a teaching hospital. Big donors. Big egos. One family in particular wanted special treatment, prescriptions that weren't exactly by the book. I said no. They made sure I couldn't stay. The matriarch's name was Charlotte James. Her son was just starting out in politics back then. Oliver." Amelia felt the air leave her lungs slowly. Theodore finally turned to her. "You flinched when I said the name on the phone." "Not much, but enough." She didn't deny it. "I'm not asking you to tell me who you are," he said. "Not tonight. But if there's danger, if someone's looking for you, I need to know how careful we have to be. For Mia, for everyone here." Amelia stared at the streetlights reflecting in puddles. "No one knows I'm here." "Not yet. But they're looking." "Yes." He nodded. "Then we keep doing what we're doing. One day at a time." They sat in silence again until the music slowed and people began drifting home. As they walked back toward the clinic together, both headed in the same direction for different reasons, Amelia spoke. "I left because I heard something I couldn't unhear. Something about me, about my worth. I decided I'd rather find out who I am without the weight of their opinion." Theodore glanced sideways. "And have you?" "Some days, yes. Some days I'm still looking." He smiled, a real one this time. "That's more honest than most people manage in a lifetime." The next week brought colder weather and harder truths. Mia's labs came back. Blast cells present. Acute lymphoblastic leukemia. Treatable but aggressive. The nearest pediatric oncology center was in Hyde Park, Rush University Medical Center, but even with sliding scale assistance, the out-of-pocket costs for induction chemo would be crushing. Amelia didn't hesitate. She had already begun quietly researching an empty warehouse 2 blocks from the clinic, a brick behemoth that had once stored wholesale produce before the market moved west. Foreclosed, sitting empty. She contacted the listing agent using a burner phone and a new email under Violet Aurora. Cash offer. No financing. Closing in 30 days. She didn't tell anyone yet, not even Theodore. But she started sketching plans at night in her journal. Women's shelter wing, pediatric aftercare space, counseling rooms, job training classrooms. A place where people could disappear from bad situations and reappear as themselves. One evening, Theodore found her sitting on the clinic steps after hours, notebook open on her lap. "You're always writing," he said. "Keeps me sane." He sat beside her. "What's the dream?" She hesitated, then turned the page so he could see the rough floor plan. A foundation for women who've been used up and thrown away. For kids like Mia who need more than bandages and hope. A real second chance. He studied the drawing for a long time. "That's not small." "No. You'd need money. A lot." "I know." He looked at her, really looked. "You're not just a woman who lost everything to fraud, are you?" She met his eyes. "No." Silence stretched. Then he said, "When you're ready to tell me the rest, I'll listen." No judgment. She nodded. "Thank you." Days turned into weeks. Mia started outpatient chemo through a hospital partnership Theodore fought to secure. The girl lost her hair in clumps. Amelia helped her pick out colorful headscarves from a street vendor. They made up stories about princesses who traded their hair for magic powers. Emma watched it all with quiet gratitude. One afternoon, while Amelia was folding laundry in the back room, Theodore appeared in the doorway. "Got another call today." Her stomach dropped. "Not Boston this time," he said. "A private investigator. Asked if we'd seen a woman matching your description. 40s, black, refined mannerisms, new to the area. Said she might be using an alias." Amelia went still. "I told him we get a lot of new faces. Nothing specific." She exhaled. "Thank you. He'll be back," Theodore said. "They always come back." "I know." He stepped closer. "You don't have to do this alone." She looked up at him, really looked, and saw something she hadn't let herself notice before. Kindness that didn't demand repayment, steadiness that didn't waver. "I'm starting to believe that," she said. Outside, snow began to fall, soft, silent, blanketing Englewood in white. Inside the clinic, Mia laughed at something Emma said. The sound carried down the hall like music. Amelia closed her notebook. For the first time since she left Boston, she felt the beginning of something solid beneath her feet. Not safety, not yet, but possibility. And that was enough to keep going. Snow continued to fall in soft, relentless sheets through the night, turning Englewood's cracked sidewalks into pale ribbons and muffling the usual street sounds. Amelia stood at the window of her small room on the second floor of Sophia's house, watching the flakes catch the orange glow of the street lamp outside. The red bracelet Mia had tied around her wrist felt heavier tonight, not from weight, but from meaning. She touched it absently, tracing the frayed threads. Downstairs, Sophia was watching a late-night gospel rerun, the volume low. Amelia could hear the choir's voices rising and falling like waves. She didn't go down. She stayed at the window until the snow thickened enough to blur the world beyond the glass. The next morning the clinic was quiet. Snow had kept many patients away. Theodore arrived early, boots leaving wet tracks across the linoleum. He carried 2 paper cups of coffee from the corner store. "Extra cream, no sugar," he said, handing one to Amelia. "Figured you'd be here before the doors even opened." She accepted it with a small nod. "Couldn't sleep." "Me neither." He leaned against the counter, staring at the steam rising from his cup. "That investigator called again last night. After hours. Left a voicemail. Said he was following up on a missing person case. Gave a number. Sounded polite. Professional. Persistent." Amelia set her coffee down untouched. "What did you do?" "Deleted it. But he'll try again. Or show up." She exhaled slowly. "I need to move faster." "Faster with what?" She pulled the notebook from her coat pocket, the one she carried everywhere now, and opened it to the warehouse sketches. The pages were filled with measurements, supply lists, rough budgets, even a hand-drawn elevation of what the front entrance could look like with new signage. The building on 65th, the old produce warehouse. "I put in an offer. Cash. Closing next week if the paperwork clears." Theodore's eyebrows rose. "You're serious?" "Dead serious." He studied the drawings. "This isn't just a shelter. This is the whole ecosystem. Counseling, medical follow-up, job placement, childcare. You've thought this through." "I've had time to think." He looked up at her. "Violet, or whoever you really are, this kind of project needs more than money. It needs permits, zoning variances, staff licensing. You can't do it alone." "I'm not planning to." A long pause. Then he said, "I'm in. But only if you tell me the rest. No more half-truths. If I'm going to risk my name on this, I need to know who I'm risking it with." Amelia met his gaze. The clinic lights buzzed overhead. Outside, a plow scraped down the street. "My name is Amelia Harper," she said quietly. "I was married to Oliver James. The politician. The one whose mother, Charlotte, your old patient. I overheard them the morning I left, talking about me like I was livestock waiting for slaughter. I took what was mine and walked away. That's the short version." Theodore didn't flinch. He simply nodded, as if he'd already half guessed. And the long version? I'm sick. The words came out steady, almost clinical. ALS. Diagnosed 14 months ago. Early stages still, but progressing. I didn't want to die in that house, surrounded by people who'd only grieve the fortune I'd leave behind. I wanted meaning. Before the end, silence stretched between them. Theodore set his coffee down. How long? Years, maybe. Months, if it accelerates. No one knows for sure. He reached out, hesitated, then placed his hand over hers on the counter. Not romantic, just present. You're building a legacy while you still can. Yes. Then we build it right. That afternoon they walked to the warehouse together. Snow crunched under their boots. The building loomed at the end of the block. 3 stories of faded red brick, boarded windows, graffiti tags half covered by newer ones. A chain-link fence surrounded the lot, padlocked gates sagging. Amelia produced a key from her pocket. The real estate agent had dropped it off that morning after the wire cleared. Inside smelled of dust, old cardboard and time. High ceilings with exposed beams. Concrete floors cracked but solid. Rows of empty metal shelving. Sunlight filtered through gaps in the plywood over the windows, painting stripes across the floor. Theodore walked the perimeter slowly. This could be incredible. It will be. They spent the next hour measuring rooms, discussing layouts. Amelia talked about a women's wing first, private rooms, shared kitchens, trauma-informed counseling. Theodore added a pediatric wing, exam rooms, play therapy space, chemo follow-up clinic. They sketched on scrap paper with a borrowed pencil. By dusk, they were back at the clinic. Mia was there for her post-chemo hydration drip. She looked smaller under the blanket, but her smile lit up when Amelia walked in. You're late, Miss Violet. Had to check on our secret project. Mia's eyes widened. What secret project? Amelia leaned close. A magic house, where kids like you get extra superpowers and grown-ups get second chances. Mia giggled weakly. Can I have a room? You already have one. Best one in the house. Emma watched from the chair beside the 4-pole. Her eyes were wet, but she didn't let the tears fall. That night Amelia wrote in her journal. Told him everything. He didn't run. He stayed. Maybe that's the real magic. The next weeks blurred into motion. The warehouse closing happened quietly. No fanfare, just signatures and a key handover. Amelia transferred the title into a new nonprofit entity, Aurora Haven Foundation. She used layered trusts and anonymous filings to keep her name off public records for as long as possible. Word spread slowly through the neighborhood. Volunteers appeared. Samuel from the block party offered to handle security upgrades. A retired teacher named Hazel wanted to run literacy classes. A young carpenter named Ezra showed up with tools and said, I heard y'all need walls that don't leak. They worked evenings and weekends. Men and women who had never spoken to each other before now passed hammers and paint rollers like old friends. Amelia learned to mix concrete, to tape drywall, to laugh at her own clumsiness with a nail gun. Theodore handled the medical side, securing donated equipment, negotiating with suppliers, drafting protocols for an on-site clinic. He also quietly reached out to old colleagues in Boston, asking for favors without explaining why. One evening, while painting the main hallway a soft cream color, Theodore found Amelia sitting on an overturned bucket, staring at a blank wall. What's wrong? I overheard something today. 2 volunteers talking. They mentioned a news clip, Oliver on CNN. He's saying I was taken against my will, that there's an active investigation, reward for information. Theodore set his brush down. He's escalating. He's desperate. The campaign finance probe is heating up. My disappearance makes him look unstable. Weak. Theodore wiped paint from his hands. You think he'll come here? I know he will. Eventually. Then we make sure this place is ready before he does. They worked harder. Mia's chemo continued. The The side effects were brutal: nausea, mouth sores, fatigue that left her sleeping most of the day. But she insisted on coming to the warehouse on Saturdays. She sat in a folding chair, wrapped in blankets, directing the painters like a tiny foreman. "More blue there. It's gotta match my bracelet." Everyone laughed. Even on bad days, her voice carried. One Saturday in early January, snow piled high outside. Amelia found Mia asleep against Emma's shoulder in a corner of the future playroom. The girl's headscarf had slipped. Fine new baby hair was starting to appear. Emma looked up. "She asked for you earlier. Said she wanted to tell you something." Amelia knelt beside them. Mia stirred, blinked awake. "Miss Violet." "I'm here, sweetheart. I dreamed about the magic house last night. You were there, and Dr. Theo, and we were all laughing. And nobody was sick. Nobody was scared." Amelia's throat tightened. "That's a good dream." Mia reached out, touched Amelia's cheek. "You're not scared anymore, are you?" Amelia hesitated. Then, "Less than I was." "Good. Because when I'm better, I'm gonna help you run this place. Promise." Amelia kissed her forehead. "Promise." Later that evening, after everyone had gone home, Amelia and Theodore stayed behind to lock up. The warehouse was quiet except for the hum of space heaters. Theodore broke the silence. "You haven't told her about your diagnosis." "No." "Why?" "Because she needs to believe in miracles right now." "Mine isn't one." He stepped closer. "You're building one. Every day." She looked up at him. Snow melted in his hair, dripping onto his collar. His eyes held something steady, something she hadn't let herself want in years. "I don't have forever," she whispered. "Then don't waste the time you do have." He leaned in slowly, giving her every chance to pull away. She didn't. Their kiss was quiet, careful, full of everything unspoken. Not passion born of desperation, but recognition. Two people who had both lost too much finding something worth holding on to, even if only for a season. When they parted, Amelia rested her forehead against his. "Thank you," she said. "For what?" "For seeing me. Not the heiress. Not the sick woman. Just me." He brushed a strand of hair from her face. "I've seen you since the first day." Outside, the snow had stopped. The sky was clearing, stars sharp against the black. But in Boston, Oliver James sat in his darkened office, staring at a grainy photo from a community fair taken by an amateur photographer and sent to his investigator. In the background, almost out of focus but unmistakable, Amelia's profile, smiling down at a little girl. He picked up the phone. "Get the jet ready. We're going to Chicago." The warehouse smelled of fresh paint and sawdust the morning Oliver James's private jet touched down at Midway Airport. Amelia didn't know it yet. She was on her knees in what would become the Foundation's main counseling room, taping baseboards with Ezra, while Theodore measured windows for donated blinds. Sunlight poured through the newly uncovered panes, turning dust motes into floating gold. Mia sat cross-legged on a drop cloth nearby, sketching with colored pencils on scrap paper. Her latest drawing, a big house with smiling faces in every window, a red bracelet tied around the doorknob like a welcome ribbon. She hummed softly, an old gospel tune Emma used to sing to her. Amelia glanced over. "What's the house called in your picture?" Mia looked up, serious. "Aurora Haven. Like your name. Violet Aurora. But it's magic, so it glows at night." Amelia's chest tightened in the best way. She crawled over, kissed the top of Mia's headscarf. "It's going to glow for real soon." Theodore watched from across the room, a small, private smile on his face. Since that first kiss in the snow, they hadn't rushed anything. No grand declarations. Just quiet moments, coffee shared before dawn, hence brushing while passing tools, nights when one of them stayed late and the other walked them home. It wasn't fireworks. It was oxygen. Steady. Necessary. He crossed the room now, crouched beside them. Got a surprise for you too, he said. Mia's eyes lit. What? He pulled a small wrapped box from his coat pocket. Early housewarming gift. Mia tore the paper. Inside, a tiny silver key on a red cord necklace. That's for the front door, Theodore explained. Even when we're not open yet, you get to come in whenever you want. Official key holder. Mia threw her arms around his neck. You're the best doctor ever. Amelia met Theodore's eyes over Mia's shoulder. The look they shared said everything words couldn't yet. Later, while Mia napped on a pile of blankets, Amelia and Theodore stepped outside for air. The January cold bit sharp, but the sun was bright. They leaned against the brick wall, shoulders touching. You're good with her, Amelia said quietly. I'm good with both of you. She turned to face him. Theo, I don't know how much time I have left to be good back. He took her hands, cold fingers warming between his. Then let me be good for the time we do have. No promises about forever. Just today, tomorrow, as many days as we get. She searched his face. You're not scared. I'm terrified, he admitted. But I've lost people before. My wife, pneumonia misdiagnosed because the fancy hospital prioritized billing codes over listening. I won't lose you the same way, by pretending everything's fine until it's too late. I want every minute, even the hard ones. Amelia leaned in, forehead against his. Then we take them. Their second kiss was slower, deeper, less surprise, more certainty. When they pulled apart, both were smiling through the cold. Inside, Ezra called them back to help hang drywall. Work continued, but across town, Oliver James sat in the back of a black Suburban idling on 63rd Street. Tinted windows, driver silent, private investigator, ex-military, gravel voice beside him. She's been seen at that community clinic, the investigator said, handing over printed photos. Volunteering under the name Violet Aurora. Also spotted at a warehouse on 65th. Looks like they're renovating it. Heavy foot traffic. Locals protective. Oliver stared at the images. Amelia laughing with a little girl. Amelia carrying paint cans. Amelia looking alive. Happy. Without him. His jaw tightened. She thinks she can just disappear. Rewrite the story. What's the play? The investigator asked. We watch. We wait. When the moment's right, we remind her who she really is. Oliver slipped the photos into his briefcase. And get me everything on that doctor. Theodore Levi. If he's helping her hide, he'll regret it. Back at the warehouse, the afternoon brought an unexpected visitor. Charlotte James, Oliver's mother, arrived alone. No driver, no entourage. She wore a plain wool coat, no makeup, hair pulled into a simple knot. She looked smaller than Amelia remembered. Older, tired in a way money couldn't hide. Sophia spotted her first, standing uncertainly at the chain-link gate. You lost, ma'am. I'm looking for Violet Aurora. Sophia's eyes narrowed. Who's asking? Charlotte hesitated. Then, her mother-in-law. Sophia didn't budge. Wait here. Minutes later, Amelia stepped out. She had known this day might come, but seeing Charlotte here, raw, stripped of Boston polish, still stole her breath. They walked to a quiet corner of the lot, away from the noise of hammers. Charlotte spoke first. I didn't come to beg you back. I came because I owe you the truth, and because I'm dying too. Amelia stayed silent. Breast cancer. Stage 4. Found it 6 months ago. Oliver doesn't know yet. He's too busy saving his career. Charlotte's laugh was bitter. I raised him to be ruthless. I taught him. And now I see what I created. Amelia crossed her arms. Why tell me? Because I was wrong. About everything. I watched you shrink for years. I helped make you small because it made me feel bigger. I was jealous. You had grace I never did. Strength I buried. And I hated you for it. Amelia felt the old anger rise, then soften. Not forgiveness. Understanding. I heard you that morning, Amelia said. You and Oliver, laughing about how disgusting I was, how I was just a bank account with a body attached. Charlotte flinched. I remember every word. I've replayed them every night since you left. Good. Charlotte pulled an envelope from her coat. This is for you. Not money. Documents. Oliver isn't my biological son. My husband, his father, was sterile. I was assaulted when I was young. I never told anyone. I claimed Oliver as mine. Raised him. But the violence in him, it's not just nurture. It's blood I never wanted to acknowledge. Amelia stared at the envelope but didn't take it. There's more, Charlotte continued. Mia, the little girl here. Her mother died in childbirth years ago. No father listed. But the dates, the hospital, it lines up with when Oliver was in Chicago for a college internship. I can't prove it, but I suspect she could be his daughter. Your stepdaughter. If you want the truth, get a test. If you don't, let her stay innocent. Amelia's world tilted again. Charlotte pressed the envelope into her hands anyway. I'm not asking forgiveness. I'm just giving you the pieces. Do what you want with them. She turned to leave. Wait, Amelia said. Charlotte paused. I don't forgive you, Amelia told her. But I hear you, and I won't let your mistakes destroy her. Mia deserves better than both of us. Charlotte nodded once. Tears tracked down her face, silent, unashamed. Then she walked away, disappearing into the snowy streets. Amelia stood frozen until Theodore found her. What happened? She handed him the envelope. Everything just got more complicated. He read quickly. His face darkened. Mia, we don't know for sure. And maybe we never need to. Theodore pulled her close. Whatever comes next, we face it together. That night they stayed late again. Mia had gone home with Emma hours earlier. The warehouse was empty except for them. They sat on the floor of the Future Women's Lounge, bare concrete, one working lamp. Amelia told him about Charlotte's visit, about the possible blood tie, about her own ticking clock. Theodore listened without interrupting. When she finished, he said, I love you. The words landed soft, simple, true. Amelia looked at him, really looked. I love you too. They made love that night on a pile of blankets in the half-finished room. Slow, tender, honest. No hiding illness, no pretending forever. Just two people choosing each other in the time they had left. Afterward, lying tangled together, Amelia whispered, I want to tell Mia, not about Oliver, not yet, but about me. She deserves to know why I might have to leave. Theodore kissed her temple. We'll tell her together. When she's stronger. Outside, snow began falling again, thick, silent, covering tracks. But Oliver's investigators sat in a parked car 2 blocks away, long lens camera resting on the dash. He snapped one final photo through the warehouse window, Amelia and Theodore holding each other in the dim light. He texted it to Oliver with 3 words. Found her. Tonight. Oliver James stepped out of the black Suburban at dusk, coat collar turned up against the biting Chicago wind. The investigator parked 2 blocks away, engine idling, ready if things turn ugly. Oliver carried nothing but a slim leather portfolio and the certainty that this ended tonight. He had rehearsed the lines on the flight. Calm, reasonable, wounded husband come to bring his wife home. The cameras would love it if any reporter showed. The narrative would flip, disappearance reframed as a cry for help, not escape. He walked the snowy sidewalk toward the warehouse on 65th. Lights glowed behind the new windows they had installed last week. Voices drifted out, laughter, the clink of tools being packed away. He paused at the chain-link gate, watching silhouettes move inside. One of them was unmistakably Amelia, tall, curved, moving with that quiet grace he had once found useful for photo ops. He pushed the gate open. The chain rattled. Inside, the main hall was almost finished. Fresh paint on the walls, donated couches arranged in a circle for group sessions, a mural of sunrise colors taking shape on the far wall. Mia sat on one of the couches, wrapped in a blanket, coloring while Emma braided what little hair she had left after chemo rounds. Theodore stood near the entrance, wiping paint from his hands, talking to Ezra about electrical permits. Amelia was the first to notice him. She froze mid-step, clipboard in hand. The room quieted like someone had flipped a switch. Eyes turned. Mia looked up, confused. Oliver raised both hands, peaceful, open. "I'm not here to cause trouble," he said, voice carrying across the space. "I just want to talk to my wife." Theodore stepped forward instinctively, placing himself between Oliver and Amelia. "She's not your wife anymore," Theodore said evenly. "Not in any way that matters." Oliver's smile was thin. "Legally, she still is. And emotionally, well, that's between us." Amelia set the clipboard down. Her voice was calm, but steel ran underneath. "Leave, Oliver. You have no business here. I have every business. You took everything. House, accounts, my future. You think you can just vanish and start playing savior in some rundown neighborhood?" Mia shrank against Emma. Emma pulled her closer, whispering, "It's okay, baby." Amelia glanced at Mia, then back at Oliver. Something hardened in her eyes. "You came all this way to yell about money?" she asked. "Or because the headlines are killing your campaign?" Oliver's jaw ticked. "Both. But mostly because I want you back. We can fix this. Quietly. You come home, the stories stop, the donations keep flowing. Everyone wins." Amelia laughed, soft, bitter, final. "No one wins with you, Oliver. Not me. Not the people here. Not even you." He stepped closer. Theodore didn't budge. "I have proof," Oliver said. "Bank records. Security footage. I can make this look like you were coerced. Or unstable. Or worse. One call to the right reporter, and this little charity project becomes a scandal. Heiress fakes disappearance to fund secret lover's clinic. How's that for a headline?" Theodore's fists clenched. Amelia raised a hand, stop. She walked past Theodore, stopping a few feet from Oliver. "You want to threaten me," she said quietly. "Go ahead. Threaten the foundation. Threaten Theo. Threaten Mia. But know this, I'm already dying. ALS. Diagnosed before I left. I have maybe a year. Maybe less. So your threats, they don't land the way you think they do." Oliver blinked. For the first time, something real flickered behind his eyes. Shock. Perhaps even a sliver of guilt. "You're sick." "Yes." He looked around the room, at the mural, the couches, the people watching him like he was something dangerous that had wandered in off the street. "Why?" he asked, voice lower. "Why throw it all away?" "Because I was already thrown away," Amelia said. "By you. By your mother. By the life you built on my silence. I came here to find out if I was worth anything without the money, without the name, without you. Turns out I am." Oliver swallowed. "Come home. We'll get the best doctors. Private care. Everything. I don't want your care. I want this." She gestured to the room. "I want Mia to laugh. I want women to walk in here broken and walk out whole. I want Theo to hold my hand when it gets bad. That's home now." Mia's small voice broke the silence. "Miss Violet, is he the bad man from your stories?" Amelia turned. Mia's eyes were wide, scared. Amelia knelt beside her. "He's not a monster, sweetheart. He's just lost. Like I was once." Oliver stared at the girl. Something shifted in his expression, recognition, calculation. Charlotte's envelope burned in Amelia's memory. The dates, the internship, the possibility. Amelia stood again. "Go, Oliver. Take your threats. Take your headlines. But leave us alone." He didn't move at first. Then he reached into the portfolio and pulled out a single sheet, legal papers. "Divorce decree. Already drafted. Sign it." I walk away. No scandal. No fight. But you give back the name. No more using Harper money for this experiment. Amelia took the paper. Read it. Then tore it in half. Then in quarters. Let the pieces flutter to the floor. No deals, she said. I'm keeping what's mine, including the truth. Oliver's face darkened. You'll regret this. I already regret the years I spent with you. This I won't regret. He turned on his heel and walked out. The gate clanged shut behind him. The room exhaled. Emma took Mia to the back room to calm her. Ezra and the other volunteers quietly resumed packing tools, giving space. Theodore pulled Amelia into his arms. She trembled, not from fear, but from the release of something held too long. You okay? He whispered. No, but I will be. They stayed like that until the warehouse emptied. Later, alone in the half-finished lounge, Amelia told him about the possible connection between Oliver and Mia. Theodore listened, face unreadable. If it's true, he started. If it's true, we protect her anyway, Amelia finished. She doesn't need his name. She needs love. She has that here. Theodore nodded. We'll get the test when she's stronger. Quietly, only if she wants to know someday. Amelia leaned against him. Her left hand twitched. Early tremor, more noticeable now. She hid it in her pocket. Theodore noticed anyway. He took her hand out, kissed the knuckles. Don't hide it from me. Tears came then, quiet, steady. I'm scared, she admitted. I know. Me too. They sat on the couch Mia had claimed as hers, wrapped in the blanket she'd left behind. Theodore held her while she cried. When the tears slowed, he spoke. Marry me. She lifted her head. What? Not for papers. Not for money. Just so I can call you mine. So when the bad days come, I have the right to sit by your bed and hold your hand without anyone questioning it. So Mia can say MS. Violet is my other mom now. Just because I love you. And I want every second. Amelia searched his face. Saw only truth. Yes, she whispered. They kissed. Slow. Salty with tears. Full of everything they couldn't say yet. The next morning brought snow again, but also progress. Volunteers arrived early. The foundation's doors were unofficially open now. First counseling session scheduled for next week. First overnight resident already vetted and moving in tomorrow. Amelia's symptoms accelerated quietly. The tremors spread to her right hand. Walking tired her faster. She hid it as best she could, but Theodore saw. Mia saw. One afternoon Mia found her resting on the couch, eyes closed. Miss Violet. Amelia opened her eyes. Hey, magic girl. Are you sick like me? Amelia sat up slowly. Yes. Different kind. But yes. Mia crawled onto the couch beside her. Will you get better? No, sweetheart. But I'll stay as long as I can. And when I can't, Theo will be here. And you. And this house. It'll keep going. Mia laid her head on Amelia's shoulder. I don't want you to go. I don't want to go either. But I'm not scared anymore. Because I found you. And Theo. And this place. That's enough. Mia slipped the red bracelet off her own wrist, the original one she'd made, and tied it around Amelia's other wrist, next to the first. Now you have two, she said. One for staying. One for coming back if you ever get lost. Amelia hugged her tight. I won't get lost. That night Oliver's story broke, not the way he wanted. A Boston investigative reporter dropped a bombshell package. Leaked emails, bank transfers, audio from years ago showing Charlotte and Oliver discussing managing Amelia's inheritance. The ALS diagnosis was mentioned in private medical notes that somehow reached the press. The disappearance reframed itself. Woman fleeing abuse, building something real in the shadows. Oliver's campaign collapsed overnight. Donors fled. Party leaders distanced themselves. He retreated to his empty Beacon Hill house, alone with the wreckage. Amelia didn't watch the news. She didn't need to. She spent the evening with Theodore and Mia, eating soup from paper bowls in the warehouse kitchen, laughing at Mia's silly stories. Later, when Mia slept on the couch, Amelia and Theodore lay together on a sleeping bag in the quiet room. "I'm ready," she said. "For what?" "To let people know. My name. My story. All of it." Theodore kissed her forehead. "Then we tell it. Together." Outside, the city slept under fresh snow. Inside Aurora Haven, a small lamp burned low. And for the first time in years, Amelia breathed without the weight of secrets pressing on her chest. The first signs that the end was near came quietly, the way winter creeps into spring without announcement. Amelia's tremors had spread from her hands to her arms, then her legs. Walking the length of the warehouse, hallway left her breathless. She leaned more on Theodore, not out of romance alone, but necessity. He never made her feel like a burden. He simply adjusted, slowing his pace, offering an arm, carrying her when pride finally gave way. Mia noticed everything. Children always do. One February afternoon, snow melting into slush outside, Mia found Amelia resting in the small office they had carved out near the entrance. The room had a single window overlooking the garden plot they planned to plant come spring. Wildflowers, vegetables, a young almond tree already staked in the center. Mia climbed onto the desk chair beside her. "Miss Violet, your hands are shaking more today." Amelia smiled softly. "They are. The sickness is getting louder." Mia reached out, covered Amelia's trembling fingers with her small ones. "Does it hurt?" "Sometimes. But having you here hurts less." Mia thought for a moment. "When I'm scared of the needles or feeling sick, I think about the magic house. And you. It makes the hurt smaller." Amelia pulled her close. "Then keep thinking about it. And when I'm not here to remind you, Theo will. And Emma. And everyone who loves you." Mia's voice cracked. "I don't want you to go. I know, baby. But I'm not really going. I'm just changing form. Like a caterpillar in a cocoon. I'll still be watching. Still cheering when you beat this thing. Still proud when you help run Aurora Haven someday." Mia buried her face in Amelia's shoulder. They stayed like that until Theodore found them, both crying quietly, both holding on. That evening, Amelia called a small gathering in the main hall. Not a funeral, too soon for that, but a promise. Volunteers, neighbors, the first residents who had moved in. Emma, Mia, Theodore. They sat in a loose circle on folding chairs and couches. Amelia spoke from her seat. Standing took too much now. "I came here broken," she began. "I thought I was worthless without the money, the name, the mask. I learned I was wrong. You all showed me. Every day you come here, every brick you laid, every child you comforted, every woman you listened to, you showed me worth isn't measured in bank accounts. It's measured in what we leave behind for each other." She looked at Theodore. "I asked Theo to marry me last week. In the garden, under that little almond tree. He said yes." Quiet cheers and soft applause rippled through the room. Mia clapped hardest. "We did it simple," Amelia continued. "Just us, the tree, and a promise. No papers, no spectacle. Just love, the kind that doesn't need witnesses to be real." Theodore squeezed her hand. His eyes were wet, but steady. She turned to the group. "There's a notebook in the office. My journal. Everything I wrote since I left Boston. Stories, fears, hopes, recipes for the kitchen we're building, ideas for programs. When I'm gone, read it. Use it. Turn it into something bigger. And if any of it helps even one person feel seen, then I did what I came here to do." Silence followed, reverent, heavy loving. Then Mia stood on her chair. "I'm gonna read it first," she declared. "And then I'm gonna write my own book. About a girl who got super strong because a magic lady loved her enough to stay until she couldn't anymore." Tears fell freely then. No one hid them. Amelia passed peacefully 3 weeks later on a quiet March morning. Sunlight, slanted through the window of the small bedroom they had finished for her on the second floor. Soft linens, a vase of early tulips from the corner florist, the red bracelets on her wrist. Theodore was beside her, holding her hand. Mia slept curled against her other side. Emma kept watch from the chair. Amelia's breathing slowed, stopped. Theodore kissed her forehead. "Thank you," he whispered, "for every day." He didn't cry then. He waited until later, when the house was quiet, and he sat alone in the garden beside the almond tree. Then the sobs came, deep, wrenching, cleansing. They scattered her ashes under that tree as she asked. Mia watered it every morning after that. "So she can grow with us," she explained. No big funeral, no press, just the people who mattered. They planted bulbs around the spot, daffodils for hope, hyacinths for love. The tree would bloom one day, and when it did, they would remember. Weeks later, Mia found the manuscript in the desk drawer. Bound simply, title handwritten in Amelia's clear script. "My husband said I disgusted him." The subtitle beneath, "And how I learned I never needed him to love me." Mia brought it to Theodore. He read it in one night, tears staining pages. It wasn't just Amelia's story. It was every woman's who had shrunk to fit someone else's idea of her. Every girl who had been told she was too much or not enough. Every person who had rebuilt from ashes. Theodore found a small independent publisher in Chicago. No advance, no big marketing, just truth. The book released quietly in June. Then social media found it. Women shared passages in private groups. Book clubs dissected it. Therapists recommended it. Sales climbed slowly, then exploded. All proceeds went to Aurora Haven. They opened a second location in Englewood's sister neighborhood by fall, smaller, but just as fierce. Mia named it the House of the Reborn. She wrote her own book too, a children's story about a girl with a red bracelet who learned to shine even when the world tried to dim her. It sold modestly, but every copy that reached a child in treatment felt like victory. Theodore became medical director of the growing foundation. He wore a locket with a lock of Amelia's hair and a note she had slipped inside before the end. "When doubt comes, touch this. I'm still here. In the light, in the love, in you." He opened it only on quiet nights. Charlotte disappeared from public life. She donated what remained of her personal fortune to Aurora Haven anonymously. Rumors said she entered a quiet convent in upstate New York. Others said she lived simply in a small town, volunteering at shelters. No one knew for sure. She never sought credit. She simply tried to balance the scales. Oliver faded. The scandals buried him. He tried a comeback memoir, self-serving, bitter. No one bought it. Last anyone heard, he lived alone in a modest condo outside Boston, a shadow of the man who once commanded rooms. A year after Amelia's passing, Aurora Haven held its first annual remembrance ceremony in the garden. The almond tree had leafed out, small white blossoms trembling in the breeze. Women from across the city came, some who had read the book, some who had stayed in the shelter, some who had simply heard the story and felt less alone. One woman took the microphone. "I was invisible until I read her words. She didn't die. She woke up in me, in all of us." Mia, now 10 and in remission, stood beside Theodore. She held a single red thread bracelet she had made for the tree. "She's still here," Mia said simply. "In every smile, in every second chance." Theodore placed his hand on her shoulder. He looked at the blossoms, at the people gathered, at the house that had once been empty brick. He smiled through tears. "She won," he said quietly, and the light that Amelia had kindled, small at first, fierce always, continued to spread. Not because of money, not because of names, but because love, when built from truth, never truly dies. It simply changes shape and keeps shining,